Alright, hello and welcome. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Google Docs. We're going to do some tips and tricks because most of you that are watching probably already know how to use the basics of a Google Doc. So what I've done is I've already created myself a new Google Doc. I'm going to pull it over here. And in this Google Doc, I've gone ahead and I just already put in a picture, my family crest here, and then just kind of copied and pasted some information about one of my relatives from Wikipedia. So basically, a couple of the things that I'm going to go over in this small tips and tricks tutorial is going to be how to go ahead and wrap text around pictures. I'm going to talk about how to create forms using Google Docs. I'm going to talk about how to basically add comments, as this is something that's huge right now in schools, and then a little bit about formatting your document. So nothing too big, but a couple of little tips and tricks here to hopefully better your classroom, school, or work environment. So basically what I'm going to do first is I'm going to basically show you how we have a picture here. And normally what we would do is we would, in Microsoft Word, there would be a format tab that would come up whenever you click on the picture that you could go in and you could basically wrap the text that way. With Google, it makes it a lot easier. We actually just have to go to the bottom of the picture, click on Wrap Text, and voila, we already have the text wrapped. So the next thing that I'm going to look at is the fact that I copied and pasted from two different places, so my spacing is really off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down and I'm going to highlight everything here. I'm going to go up to Format, come down to Line Spacing, and then I'm going to go to the 1.15 just because I like that spacing, but I could actually come here. I think it might actually look equally as good with the 1.5. And now it pushed it past here, so all I have to do is come down to the bottom here, oops, and backspace up, and I can get rid of that page. There we go. So now I have my one-page document here, so if I were writing an essay or something like that, then I would be good to go from right here. Now, one thing that I would kind of like to take the time to show you is more and more in schools we're looking for collaboration type work. And in college it's become huge right now, writing essays in groups. That can be a little bit difficult when you're writing an essay as a group because everybody's writing a different portion and you want to be able to collaborate within the Google Doc without having to copy and paste and all that kind of stuff. And Google actually makes this really easy. So I'm going to show you a trick here. So say I've got two students, they're going to work on two different chapters. This is going to be chapter 1 and the other student's going to work on chapter 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to the bottom here. I'm going to hold down the control button and press enter, and that's going to automatically go down to the next page. So no matter where you are on a page, so I'll show you this again. Basically, if we're entering down, we're right here, and say I'm going to go over to another monitor here, and I'm going to copy and paste another little section here. I can come down, I can use this control enter, and it's going to automatically go to the next page. Now what's nice about this though is that say this person is continuing to work on their section here, we'll go ahead and we'll just put chapter 2 right here. If this person were entering down, say we're writing, we're entering, come down here so you can see it, once they enter to the next page, you see how that all went blank? It pushed another page there for this person that's working up here, and it doesn't even mess with the person who's working on chapter 2. So they don't have to reformat their stuff every time this person enters down a page. It's really nice. Perfect for collaboration. So I'm actually going to get rid of that here. Oh, and I also deleted the control enter there. And we'll just get rid of this whole part that I put in here. Alright, so obviously the collaboration portion is getting better and better. You can also do chats, comments, things like that. So the different editors can make comments. Now, what this is really great for is actually for teachers. Now, if your students are using, say, if you're using Google Classroom, then this document should already be shared with you in that shared folder that's created for them for your class. And so as they're working on this, you could go in, read what they've written so far, and start making comments. So maybe I want to highlight this right here, and I'm going to insert, and I'm going to go to comment, and maybe I'm going to put nice guy, comment. I could do this for spelling errors, run-on sentences, maybe parts that don't make sense. Maybe I want to highlight their thesis and tell them, you know, hey, your thesis statement doesn't fit the type that we want for this assignment, so on and so forth. And with today's technology, realistically, students shouldn't be printing out any of their essays anymore. They should be submitting them all online, which means that teachers should be making these comments, learning how to do a lot of this stuff here. Maybe I want to come down here, highlight this whole paragraph, go to my format, I'll go strike through, and then I will go to comment, and I'll put this paragraph does not belong. Comment. Right there, it's a nice, easy editing tool that I can basically show the student, hey, this doesn't belong here. They can go back, delete out that paragraph, and start going from where they are. So, again, this could be a really nice way for you to be able to show your students that you are actively trying to help them to better their grade, to better their understanding of the material by reading it periodically as they're creating it and helping them out before they actually submit that final draft, as well as once you get that final draft, making these comments so they know where they went wrong. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some things with forms. Now, there are quite a few different ways to do this, but I'm going to show you the way that I kind of like to do it. And I like doing forms with tables. So rather than doing the whole name, tab, date, underline, now when I go back and I start typing in it, I have to make sure to underline it if I want it to actually show up right. I don't like this. To me, it looks terrible. And it's not very efficient either. So what my suggestion is we're going to use a table. So I'm going to insert, and I'm going to do a 6x6 just to start off with here. And what I'm going to do, what I'm going to suggest is that before you do this, you at least write it out on paper so that you know basically what you're looking to do with your form here. And I'm just going to wing it here, and I'm just going to put first name, last name, and date. Alright, so a couple things here. I'm going to move this over to about right here. Ooh, maybe a little bit too far there. And then I'm going to move this over. Oh, again, a little bit too far. I'm going to keep this one a little bit longer, but I'm going to shorten this one up. First names aren't generally as long as last names, so by doing this, I should give myself a little bit more space for the person's last name. And then obviously with the date here, maybe I kind of want to take this out. I want a little bit more space between the two of these, and I'm looking for a spacer for later. So I'm going to move this over a little bit, move this over, highlight this. I'm going to right click. Okay, so I'm just holding my left click down, highlighting all the cells, right clicking, and I'm going to insert one column to the right so that I have another column here. I'm going to put the date here actually, and then I'm going to extend this, highlight these two, right click. I'm going to go down to merge cells. I want this one a little bit longer because maybe I've got a lot of people with some pretty long last names in my school building. From here, I'm going to take the date here and I'm going to come up over here and I'm going to align it to the right so that basically this one right here, once it types, there's not such a huge gap between the two. Alright? And now keep in mind that we are going to clean this up. We're going to make this look phenomenal at the end. Just be patient. And bear with me here, alright? So here we're going to put in our address, and addresses are really long, so I'm going to highlight all three of these, right click, going to go back down to the merge cells. And then I'm going to put state right here, but I'm going to highlight it and push it to the right so that there's not as much of a gap again. Now I maybe want, say I want to go with our zip code. Zip code, I'll highlight this, I'll move this over to the right. That way, again, not such a gap. And then maybe I want phone number, but I'm also realizing that I want this to line up exactly with this one. So I'll push this right here, and I'm going to merge these two cells because the phone number may not fit into that cell right there. Now, I want to have a border around some of my stuff. Now there's a couple of different trying to figure out how to best explain this one. So if I want to maybe create a form within a form, so say I had these cells much bigger, or maybe this one right here I want age. So I'll actually put my cursor in there, go to table, insert to here, and then I'll go age, and then I will push this to the right, and now I have a table within a table. Okay. The next thing that I can do is I can basically highlight these cells right here. I can merge them. I'm going to put another table, but with one square. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put inside of this square, please attach resume and cover letter before submission. All right. So now that we have this basic form, we can do a couple of different things to clean it up and make it look incredible. All right. The first thing that we could do is, if we are going to, say, have this form be a printable form, so we're not going to have people fill it out online with a computer, we're going to have them actually fill it out on paper, we could use the underscore, which is right next to, right in between the 0 and the plus and equal sign key up near your backspace. You just hold the shift button and push it down, and it will create your line for you. So I will do that with all of our data here, because right now we are assuming that this is going to be a printable form, right? And then what we can do is we can highlight here, right click, and then we can go to table properties. I'm going to change the border to white. Table properties again, border white. Okay, now I'm keeping the table properties for this one table so that it can look nice, and now you see how we have this nice form that's completely customized to what we want. Now I did forget this one, which I can come back up and do. That's no problem. Voila! We have a really nice printable form that we can go back in, we can edit ourselves, so on and so forth. Now we want to edit this. I'm just going to put my cursor up here by the F and just highlight, go back to the right click, table properties, turn the border back to black to make it easier to edit, and we can go back to our editing. Now another way that we can do this actually is we can delete all of our lines. And what we could actually do from here is come in, and if we put our cursor in any one of these boxes, you get this down arrow right here, and we could basically select which line we say want. So now this might be a little bit more tedious to work with, but it's doable. Border color will go to white. Here, go again, and we'll go to the top one, border color equals white. What we could do is we could keep on doing this until we have, and now I'm actually going to do this a little bit backwards here. Right click, I'm going to go to the table properties. You may end up wanting to do this as well. Go to white, okay. I'm going to go to this cell, and I'm going to circle the whole box. And then I'm going to go border color equals black. Voila! Now I've got this fantastic box right here. Do the same thing with now this one. Border color equals black. And now if this were an electronic copy, people would know to come in, type in their first, last name into these boxes. Now again, this may not be exactly how you want to do it. We've got another way yet. So, somehow we're not getting the right one there. There we go. Table properties. Let's go back to black, and here we go. Now, another way to do this is go back to the table properties one more time, and we'll make sure everything is white. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to go to this square right here. I'm going to use this right here, and this is one of my favorite ways of doing things. I'm going to go to this bottom one right here. I'm going to go to the border color and make it black. Now you can see we've got an underline right here. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to do the same thing here. Border color equals black. I'm going to keep on doing this. This is what I would consider to be one of the best ways to do a form, simply on the basis that you're going to make it look really nice here. Let's see here, equals black. Now right here we may have made a slight mistake right here in our calculations, and this is basically where you're going to see now we've got a little bit too long of a line for this right here. So maybe we want to highlight this again, go back, do it white, but now maybe we want to unmerge these cells. Come back in here, border equals black. This should be the last one here. Border equals black. Now if this is an electronic copy, somebody can come right in here and fill out their name. You see how easy this is for your secretary. If you make this form, all they have to do is come in, fill out this form real quick, or maybe you put this on your website for parents to fill out, so on and so forth, or maybe you're putting it out for your staff to be able to fill this out, print it out, and submit it to you, whatever the case might be. Obviously, if you're going to do any type of form that's going to go out and collect data, my recommendation is to use Google Forms. That's always going to be your best bet when it comes to actual forms. But if you're recreating a form that needs to be filled out frequently by your staff or your secretaries, this is one of your best ways to go, especially if it's a very detailed form like this. And so basically, like I said, this is my recommendation. Hopefully these tips and tricks have helped you to better either your classroom, your work environment, or your home life. So thanks for watching. Like us, follow me on Google Plus or on YouTube.